What's up guys, Chase Oliver here, bringing you another video to the channel. Yesterday was WWE Day 1. Let's talk about the good and the bad of that pay-per-view right now. First of all, let's talk about the good. I would have to say that I really liked the length of the show. The duration of the show was just a nice flat 3 hours. I didn't feel like the show dragged at all. I didn't feel like, man, I gotta sit another 4 hours or another hour just to get to the main event. Nope, everything was neat, tightly compacted. I felt that the match structure of the card was really good, and not to mention that the wrestling was actually pretty solid for this show. You know, for these premium live events that WWE likes to call them now, you gotta just have good action, like even if it means having a smaller card, because you know sometimes some matches, like a lot of people got confused and thought AJ versus Omos was happening and Shinsuke versus Sammy. No, those are SmackDown and Raw matches. We don't need to put everything on these premium live events. So that's why I liked how tight it was. I liked the length of most of the matches, and I actually enjoyed most of the in-ring action myself because I felt it just delivered. A lot of the matches felt a little bit different and unique, which you barely get with wrestling nowadays because a lot of the matches just feel so the same and formulaic. Now, I know we've seen this match 1,000, 2,000 times. I don't know how many times we've seen it, but we've seen it a lot. The Usos and the New Day, I get it. But you know what? Sometimes, like my fat ass, we are always eating fast food. I love me a McDouble. And yes, it does get me sick every time I eat a McDouble. But guess what? Guess what hits the spot sometimes? A McDouble. And that was the New Day versus the Usos. They just hit the spot. They just went out there and they said, nah, this is our show. This is our land. Let's kill it. And man, the ending with their own version of the 3D, now I'm probably calling it the 1D, really good. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the match. I always tell people, you need to go out of the way to see this match. This is definitely one thing that you will load up on the Peacock and say, you know what? Even though Peacock may freeze every 5 seconds here, let me at least try to find a way to watch this Day 1 tag team title match because it was worth it. Another good was the build-up between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Woo! The Fatal 5-Way match itself was really good. But there was also a bad thing that was coming out of that match that I'll talk about in the bad section. But the good was finally, we got Lashley versus Lesnar, and it did not disappoint. And what I love too is, like, normally WWE, they love to build it up because Vince needs to know if the crowd will care. Vince will need to know, like, oh, well, they actually care if these guys wrestle. Let's clear out everyone and stare them down, and that way the fans can give a reaction. But no, they said, you know what? No, screw it. That doesn't fit Lashley's character. That doesn't fit Lesnar's character. No, instead, the first interaction we get, Lashley goes ahead and spears Brock Lesnar through a barricade, and then the next time they meet, Lashley spears him and almost gets Lesnar in trouble with the Hurt Lock. And what I liked about this build-up was that it was pretty much just solidifying that, hey, whatever you had with Lesnar and Roman, you can put that on the wayside. You guys can put that in the fridge. Hopefully it doesn't expire, because right now, Lashley feels like the hottest thing for Lesnar, and especially the way they booked it, where Lesnar did not even look strong against Lashley. Lashley looked strong throughout. And before, you probably had the idea of one person winning the Royal Rumble. I think you now got to go with Lashley winning the Royal Rumble. Let's talk about the bad. I don't get this Mad Cop Moss character. I don't like this Happy Corbin character. I'm going to talk about that in a future video, about how they ruined one of my favorite wrestlers of Baron Corbin. And I know a lot of you are saying, what, he likes Baron Corbin? I do like Baron Corbin. Deal with it. But Mad Cop Moss, I look at this guy and I say, oh, wow, this guy has a look. This guy looks great. This guy, oh, he was on that Raw Underground, that thing that failed. He looks good. Let me see what they're going to do with this guy. And he's out there telling dad jokes. And not even dad jokes I would be proud of. Just terrible, bad dad jokes. And I don't think this gimmick works at all. And I know maybe 2 weeks down the line, 2 months down the line, I might change my mind. But maybe it'll because Mad Cop Moss is actually a really solid talent that maybe you should give a good gimmick to. I really do feel like they're missing the boat with this Mad Cop Moss guy. I look at this guy and I say, he should be built up to be facing Damian Priest for the US title, or maybe going for the IC title. He should be built up as something, because his match with Drew wasn't that bad. It actually surprised me a little bit. It's just this character No matter what he does, I just don't think I'll get behind it because his character is ass. That's pretty much it. It's just a bad character. As much as I like the Fatal 5-Way match, what I didn't like was how much of an afterthought that the former WWE Champion Big E looked like in this match. Oh my God. Besides getting a video package, he just felt like another guy. He felt like he was a challenger going into this event, which really, really annoyed me and made me feel bad because I was like, yo, man, this guy is someone that a lot of people are behind, that a lot of people like, and he just didn't even feel like he was the world champion. He just felt like, yeah, we needed him on the card somehow. People like him, so we're going to put him on the card. That's how it felt like, because before the match even began, earlier in the show, they showed the Fatal 4-Way graphic. Brock Lesnar got his entrance in the Fatal 4-Way graphic. He literally had an entrance in the graphic where it went, and then Brock Lesnar's graphic gets introduced. Brock Lesnar comes out fifth, and then the worst part is this, the camera cuts. Oh, you knew, the producers knew, that we knew, Vince knew, we only cared about Lashley versus Lesnar. And literally when Lesnar goes and hits the ropes, does his little jump thing and gets into the ring, the camera immediately cuts to Lashley, cuts back to Lesnar real quick, then cuts to Big E to remind you, he's the champ, not Lashley. Big E's the champ. And then it's like, no, back to Lashley again. The next cut was to Lashley. It was really weird, but it also made me was like, this is what you do to Big E. And then the worst part too is Big E eats the pin. You got guys like Seth Rollins, you got guys like, Kevin Owens that could have easily eat the pin here, but that Golden Children rules business right there, brother. Big E may be a silver child of NXT, but he ain't a golden child like Seth frickin' Rollins and Kevin Owens. Oh, if we're gonna lose this match, we ain't eating the pin, brother. Great shit by those two. Love it. They did the Triple H roll out of the ring, Jeff Hardy Armageddon style. They were like, we'll eat a couple suplexes, eat a F5, but we ain't part of the pin. And Lashley wasn't going to get pinned because, Vince wants to build up Lashley and Lesnar. Whether it happens at Mania, whether it happens at the Rumble, he wants to build that up. So, of course, Lashley's not eating the pin. But Big E, minus like maybe a few moments in the match, he just felt like an afterthought. And that's not good. That is not good. And then the final bad from this event, Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. The match itself was kind of it was kind of whatever, but also just the execution and the storytelling of this match. I was like, what was the point of building up Liv to be this underdog just for her to lose? What was the point? Because sometimes these storylines, they work, the underdog storylines, 9 out of 10 times they're going to work. Because a lot of wrestling fans can relate to the underdog. A lot of wrestling fans can say, hey, that's me. I relate with this person because I've been counted out most of my life. I've been felt like an outcast. I've been felt like no one believes in me. And it could be from this, that, or the other. And with Liv Morgan, this was a perfect time to kick in the new year and say, you know what? I get it. Becky's the bigger star. She can win the belt like at, the February pay-per-view. She can win the belt a little bit before Mania. Or you know what? Maybe send her to SmackDown because SmackDown really needs her more than Raw. I get it. Her and Seth Rollins are married. WWE likes to keep the couples together. I understand that. But the thing is this. You've been waiting a long time telling this story with Liv Morgan. This story has been going on for a long, long time. How do you not put the belt on her here? How do you not say, you know what? Let's give the fans something to be happy about. Let's give some of the fans that want to believe in something, let's give them that belief. And now Liv Morgan lost. And a lot of people say, well, this is good because now they can keep... No. Why do I want to keep supporting a loser? That's just my question to the people super defending this, saying let it play out. This was the night to do it. This was the night to make Liv Morgan the Raw Women's Champion. She will get a reaction when she wins, yes. But the thing is, right now, Liv Morgan was hotter than ever to win the belt. Liv Morgan should have been the one to walk out as your Raw Women's Champion. You see, Becky Lynch is at the point, she don't need that belt. She don't need that belt as much as Liv Morgan needs the belt. And if anything, if you just look at matches that entertain you for Becky Lynch perspective, yes, Bianca versus Becky, that's something we would probably get at Mania. But I think a lot of people would rather see Becky versus Charlotte again. Just my opinion. I just felt the WWE dropped the huge ball with Liv Morgan here. This should have been her moment. This should have been her crowning achievement. This should have been a great way to kick off the new year. Liv Morgan becoming the Raw Women's Champion. I'm not even the biggest Liv Morgan fan. I am just a fan of proper storytelling. I am a fan of proper execution. This was horribly executed. The match was just okay. It just felt flat. And then at the end of the day, Liv Morgan, we don't even get to celebrate it. She's just in the ring crying because she lost. And that's not good. That's not good at all. Overall, WWE Day 1 was a pretty solid premium live event. Ugh, that's so weird to say. Can't you just call it special events again, WWE? Come on. Making me say PLE, premium live event. It'll take some time, but I'll get used to it. But it was a solid show. It's one of those things where I feel like with WWE, their issue isn't really these events that they like to put on, these premium live events. It's the issue is the weekly shows. And honestly, this is what these premium live events are for, is to build up towards those weekly shows. For me to say, hey, should I watch Raw? Should I watch SmackDown? You know, that's what these events are for. And honestly, I can say this. This event has only made me want to watch Raw to see what they're going to do with Lesnar and Lashley. But other than that, nothing else from this show made me say, yeah, you know, I got to go out of my way to watch it. So overall, if you were to ask me, this show was just average because, hey, yes, it's a watchable show. Yes, it's not a terrible WWE pay-per-view. But in the grand scheme of things, these events are to make you to watch the next show. I don't think this is an event that would say like, oh yeah, I really got to check it out. I don't feel like if you're a casual and you haven't been watching wrestling in a long time and you heard about this Day 1 event, which is a great idea. I applaud whoever came up with this idea of a pay-per-view because I think it makes total sense to have a pay-per-view the first day of the year. A lot of wrestling fans probably want something to watch on the first day of the year, and especially from the WWE fan side of things, so it makes sense to put it on here. And I could see the idea and the vision of like, hey, you know, maybe if someone hasn't watched in a while besides WrestleMania, let's see if we can hook them with Day 1 leading into the Royal Rumble, another casual friendly event. I really do like this idea. It was just that this premium live event didn't make me at least say, oh, I gotta watch all of Raw next week, or oh, I gotta watch all of SmackDown. It just said like, oh yeah, that was a fun wrestling show, and then afterwards that was it. I just turned off the TV. So overall, just an average show for WWE Day 1. What did you guys think about WWE Day 1? Did you like it? Did you hate it? All opinions are welcome. Comment them down below. If you guys like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68 and subscribe down below. Thank you guys so much for taking time to tune into this video. I appreciate you. You guys have a wonderful day. Have a good one. Peace.